What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the 10th album by rapper LL Cool J. Basically, this project is called The Definition, and it came out in the summer of 2004. So the thing about this particular project is LL Cool J had been around since like the mid 80s, so he had definitely had a pretty lengthy career as far as that particular pitch can have, but he was trying some new styles, particularly in his 2000s albums. I remember this particular album because of the hit song Headsprung as far as that pitch kind of happened with it, but I'd have to say about this particular album, it's some pretty heralded stuff here. Now, I don't know LL Cool J a whole bunch, but I'd say I do remember at least this particular project, I'd have to say, or at least the song Headsprung, but I do like this album quite a bit, I'd have to say. It's definitely going to get this album is definitely going to get a relatively high score, I'd have to say. In particular, it's definitely some revitalized LL Cool J as far as that pitch kind of particularly happens with it. Now, I'm going to have to review some more of his 2000s albums because I want to see about some of these. I don't know if he did New York boom bap type stuff back in the 80s and early 90s as far as that pitch kind of goes. I'm not too much of a fan of boom bap as far as that pitch kind of particularly goes, but I did like this particular album just because it was pretty southern fried, had a lot of good bops and bangers on here as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. I like the fact that Timbaland had quite a few boilers on here that just worked extremely heavily as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. And I definitely feel like this was just some revitalized type stuff that just had a lot of thrills about this particular type stuff, just a lot of good nightclub bounce about it, and just the social appeal. This is like some good day commerce on here, I'd have to say. It's just the concept of it having like this day commerce mixed with like a lot of evening and nightlife and even a few after hours type songs to really get within that relative pitch. Most of this, I mean, this particular project does have like a commercial sheen. It just kind of reminds me of something that Nelly would have done had he been in his mid 30s back in like 2004 as far as that pitch kind of particularly went along with it. I'd have to say some pretty good concept. We get this one in particular. This has some pretty stellar stuff, I'd have to say. Just being able to talk about it just with that southern twang and some stuff like that. I definitely feel like this particular style suits LL Cool J pretty well. I don't know how well he particularly felt like he vibed with it as far as that pitch kind of happened, but I would have to say this is a pretty fitting type sound as far as some of these kind of happen. Very contemporary to like the mid 2000s stuff that was going on with Juvenile, Lil Wayne, Manny Fresh, some of those type folks, T.I., Lil Flip, some of those type folks around that particular time. Some other ones like even Jeezy and then Boys in the Hood in later cases as they were starting to blow up in like late 2004, early 2005. Just folks like that, Bun B, UGK, some of those type folks, I would have to say. So it's just a pretty good concept. Definitely appreciate this particular album, I'd have to say. So we'll go ahead and talk about the singles here. There are only two singles now. LL Cool J, pretty similar to like Snoop Dogg and Eminem and folks like that, I'd have to say, is just the concept that he doesn't really have to pack his albums full of singles just because he has so many albums. The fact that he had been around since like 1985, 1986, he just really can pump out like one or two or three singles and still manage to have plenty of hits just because of his overall large catalog as far as that particular kind of goes. But the first single is Head Sprung. Definitely some good summer bounce here, I would have to say. Headsprung is like a twangy kind of southern fried club hitter, I'd have to say in particular. This one reminds me of Juvenile. I would definitely have to say Juvenile the rapper, I'd have to say in particular. This reminds me of something like Slow Motion or some of those type ones in my life, some of those type bops from mid 2004 as far as that particular kind of goes. This is just kind of a carefree summer bounce of a song, I'd have to say in particular, and this is just like a riveting kind of bop. So I definitely appreciate this one. This is probably, to me, this is one of LL Cool J's most distinct songs, I'd have to say in particular. This has a lot of good affable vibes about it. Headsprung just has a lot of good affable vibes about it. Just in particular, it's a real hitting type club single that just works pretty heavily. This one definitely charted pretty heavily back in the mid 2000s, 2004 as far as that pitch can happen. Definitely one of the bigger songs out of the summer of 2004, and I definitely appreciate that concept as far as just having the affability behind it and just a lot of overall commercial gloss. This is definitely the sort of song that was necessary in 2004. This is the sort of stuff. I mean, this one kind of feels like maybe you could almost say that LL Cool J was being like a culture vulture around this particular time, but I don't consider it that. I don't consider LL Cool J being a culture vulture around this particular time, harvesting this particular style. I definitely feel like this is a pretty affable type song, and definitely one of his best songs, I'd have to say overall. This is one that continues to resonate even 20 years later. I would definitely have to suppose, in particular, just some real highlighted type stuff to kind of get here. Definitely think LL Cool J needs to make way more songs like this. I just think this is probably one of the best songs out of the mid 2000s from him. Probably one of the best songs out of the 2000s from LL Cool J, and just an overall highlight out of 2004 in general for Southern rap music and just stuff like that. Just some real Southern twang, a great Timbaland beat on here to some pitches like that. Just real Apple type single. Hush is the second single. And this one's a little bit more pop rap ready, a little bit more Nelly like in terms of like something that he would have done off of his Suit album, something like that. Like one of those singles, like kind of with that makeshift kind of day commerce energy, like End Day Say by Nelly off of his Suit album. off of Nelly's Suit album, I'd have to say in particular. But this is like a carefree Hush. Hush is like a carefree summer energy of a song, I'd have to say in particular. This is definitely some breezy day commerce, I would have to say. Pretty good concept for that. It's like a solid kind of commercial single. It's like a solid kind of commercial single with like a pretty good bop of it. Just an overall pretty good wheeze about it that just works pretty damn well, I'd have to say. It's like a ladies jingle, I would definitely have to say, and this is just a pretty good workaday hit, so I'd have to suppose. It's just a good concept. This really reminds me of something that Too Short would have done with like a song like the ghetto or something like that. It's not really a ghetto type song, but this is kind of the concept of just having some of that real. This song just really has some of that steadfast kind of summer breeze about it that just works pretty well. It's just kind of an Apple type one. It's just an interesting type song because this song charted pretty heavily back in 2004, 2005 as far as that particular pitch kind of happened with it. But it's just so plain and vanilla. I'd have to say it's just really like a vanilla kind of summer haze of a song. Really not even haze, the summer breeze of a song. It's really that energy of just like boppish kind of August, July type days, September type days where you just feel the wind, that type pitch, just getting lemonades out in the sunlight and pitches like that. Now, on a side note, I want to say I'm not even sure if there's like an explicit version of this particular album. I'm not really for certain if LL Cool J had like an explicit version and used foul language on this particular album. I kind of feel like this might have just been like a factory ready to go type album, like Will Smith or something like that. I kind of feel like there's some songs on here that are made for the ladies with like some of that bounce and action as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. But I'm not really sure if he's saying, not really sure if he's saying words like fuck, shit, damn, pussy, some of those type words as far as that particular kind of goes along with it. But I would have to say, pretty good concept. Get this particular song. It's a real Apple type one that's pretty commercial, pop rap ready to go for like the radio as far as that particular kind of goes. It's real kind of just almost saccharine type one, but this really works for that relative pitch of just getting some breeziness just for that relative summer energy. Just a real vanilla kind of summer single, I'd have to say. But that's the basic concept of the singles about this particular album. So talk about the songs I recommend on here. Basically, there's 11 songs on this particular album, and out of those 11, I wound up recommending to you 8. So the only real 3 songs I didn't recommend on here would just be Move Something. The only 3 songs I didn't recommend would just be Move Something, Can't Explain It, and One in the Morning. So talk about those real quick. Basically, Move Something was just a poor type. So talk about these songs I didn't recommend on here. Move Something and One in the Morning were just some poor type club rumblers that just didn't work out that well. They just had poor productions and just were not that affable in terms of some of the energy. I definitely feel like in terms of some of these concepts, I like that LL Cool J was trying out some new styles and some pitches like that, getting to like some PD Pablo and Juvenile type energy, Lil Jon and T.I. and Lil Flip type energy as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. But it's just kind of the concept that some of these type ones that kind of some of these type ones that were trying to have more natural kind of club type energy in terms of just like more maybe New York sound circa 2004, 2003 as far as that pitch kind of went, just didn't really deliver that well. They just were kind of ones that fell flat. It's interesting kind of get a Dame Grease beat just because it was interesting to get a Dame Grease beat just because he produced for DMX and pitches like that. But that one was just kind of a poor one. The one he did, One in the Morning, and then it's the same concept with Move Something, both of which just didn't really stack up. And then Can't Explain It was just kind of a ladies type song. Some of these are some real nice ones. Like LL Cool J really has some good breezy type lady songs on here, like Every Sip, Hush, and Rub My Back, and some of those type ones. And maybe I would even say I'm About to Get Her. But this one, Can't Explain, was just kind of one. I like the windy type feel of the particular production on here, but it just didn't quite pull it off quite as well as it relatively needed to. It was just not necessarily a full blown dub, but just kind of one that was just a little bit cumbersome. I'd had to say in particular as far as that pitch going along with it. But for the most part, this album's pretty thrilling, almost wall to wall, I'd have to say. So talk about some of these ones I recommend on here. Like Apple Cobbler is a good follow up to Headsprung. This definitely probably should have been another single on here. I definitely think LL Cool J probably could have promoted this album a lot better. This is another good Timbaland beat. This is like a grinding kind of night venue bounce of a song, I'd have to say. Good companion with Headsprung. This is a good companion with Headsprung, like I was saying. This is just a lively dance tune, I would have to say. This is a pretty underrated song. Definitely like the concept of talking about shake that apple. Definitely like the concept of talking about shake that apple cobbler butt as far as that particular kind of goes along with it. Just some good pitches kind of get that in particular. Just a good relative bounce to kind of get the ladies jiving pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. Definitely need some songs like this. This is a good concept to get some of these, just some of these southern twang type songs. This is a mid 2000s type fare. If you're familiar with most of these southern twang type songs and mid 2000s type hits and 2000 type hits from like T.I. and Lil Wayne and some of those type folks, if you know if Go DJ and 24s are getting burnt out, some of those type pitches, I'd say Headsprung and Apple Cobbler are some good ones to kind of look up in terms of that relative pitch because they do have some boiling type energy just for some good pitch. Now, it may be kind of a disappointment that there's not like an explicit version of some of these, but I still would I'd say some good stuff. I mean, it's not too much of a disappointment, but it's just kind of the concept about it. I'm About to Get Her featuring R. Kelly is a pretty nice one. This is like a suave kind of Latin guitar hotel type music. I'd have to say, real nice one for that relative pitch. It's like a late day breeze of a song. I'd have to say this song has some fresh appeal and it's just a basic romance kind of gem. I'd have to say. I really like the summer evening type pitch of this one in particular. This really has some of that breeziness. This really works pretty damn well. I'd have to suppose in particular. Just a real nice one. I like the R. Kelly hook and background vocals on this particular song. This adds a lot of appeal towards it. R. Kelly was really on fire back in 2004, and he makes a good combination with LL Cool J, who has some suaveness on this particular song. There's some good concepts here. Definitely just I like the Latin guitar type pitch of this particular one. Definitely, I'm About to Get Her definitely reminds me of some easygoing kind of hotel music, just a basic kind of summer bop to kind of have within that relative pitch for some R&R relaxation as far as that pitch kind of goes along with that. Shake It Baby is a pretty nice one. This is like a soulful kind of summer day commerce of a song I'd have to say in particular. It's like a basic end of work shift type tune. I'd have to say a pretty good concept for that. And this is like some unwind music I would definitely have to say. And this is just like an early kind of dance kickoff. So this one's kind of a dance song. It's interesting that LL Cool J managed to blend like it's interesting that LL Cool J managed to blend like some work shift type music and makeshift type music with like some of these dance hitters as far as that particular kind of goes. This is definitely one for getting ready to unwind a bit and get ready to go get kicked off. Get ready to go get cranked as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. I mean, it's pretty steadfast in like its approach. I feel like this concept is not it's not like Nelly's Hot in Here type crazy disc where you're really kind of raved and revved up as far as that pitch kind of goes. But it's just kind of a pitch of like, hey, I'm gonna go change clothes, get ready to step out a bit and go have some crunk times as far as that pitch kind of gets ready to happen. Just a real nice one to kind of switch up and just get ready to get out of work shift, get into like the mode of getting ready to get crunk and pitches like that as far as that particular kind of goes. Rub My Back is a pretty nice one. Definitely appreciate this one. This is like an Amazonian kind of misty summer beach energy of a song I'd had to say in particular. It's like a breezy kind of out and about type tune. I would have to say a pretty good pitch for that one. This is just like a residential kind of day commerce song I'd have to suppose, and this is just good for some snackage I'd have to suppose. Yeah, Rub My Back is definitely some further summer energy, just like Head Sprung and Apple Cobbler, I'd have to say in particular, and even a little bit of I'm About to Get Her. Just some pitches like that. This is great for like some summer vacation type music as far as that pitch kind of goes. Just visiting a hotel, some pitches like that, pool party type music pitches of that relative sense. It's some real suave typeness, but just has like that good appeal. Just tanning on the beach, some pitches like that. Just some relative, just summer glaze kind of energy, just overall work shift type tones. Or it's kind of like a blend just between like relaxation type music, some of that Miami by Will Smith type tone, but just within the relative pitch of also having like some, just kind of has some of that edginess factor, just I would have to say in particular. Just a good concept to kind of get that one. Every Sip is another highlighted one. That's like a breezy kind of pop rap ladies makeshift gleam of a song I had to say in particular. Pretty nice one for that sort of pitch. It's like a starry kind of late day hitter. I would definitely feel like this would be a starry kind of late day hitter for getting ready to step out. I'd have to say this is another one that kind of goes well with like Every Sip is another song that goes well with Shake It Baby and Hush as far as that particular kind of goes. Just some good work shift type tunes as far as that particular kind of goes. Just that day haze at just like 4:30, 5:30 p.m. as the sun is setting. You're getting ready to step out to like a night fair as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. Just some good type tunes. Real breezy type one. Just really like the overall summer breeze of this particular type stuff. Just some real affable type energy. Just mellow just within a sense, but just has that, this really has that correct kind of pitch that this is pop, that this is very peppy and feel good as far as that particular kind of goes along with it. Just like some of these upbeat kind of summer tunes that just work pretty well. Just really like the affability behind this particular mood set of this particular album. A lot of these have that work shift type feel, but it's just the same concept of just getting ready to step out and get ready to go get cranked. I mean, some of these like head sprung apple cobbler and feel the beat are definitely some pounders just for stepping out a bit, but there's definitely some ones for getting ready to step out just in that pitch, kind of the transaction of getting there as far as that kind of goes. So these are some nice ones. Just that summer, just appreciating the sunlight, appreciating the sunshine as far as that pitch can goes, just getting that relative pitch, getting some drinks in your system, that initial kind of fanfare and getting ready to step out and then go head out, just pitches like that. But Feel the Beat's another nice one. This is a pretty good pitch of one. This one has like a more New York type tone, but I definitely like this production. This one compares a lot better than songs like Move Something and One in the Morning. This is one that's not necessarily a southern fried, but I do like the concept. It's kind of a blend of kind of New York type to kind of trendy contemporary 2000s New York rap with a little bit of southern friedness in there. This is produced by Timbaland, so this is another nice one, Feel the Beat. But this one is like a late after hours kind of hang out tune. I would have to say in particular, this is definitely some residential smoke one type tune. I would have to say in particular, so this would definitely be a residential smoke one tune. I would have to say definitely good for some night TV after hours, like Jay Leno pitches like that, or at least relative night television that's on right now. Stephen Colbert, some of those type folks I'd have to say in particular. And this is just like a fun kind of woozy Chica's club tune. I'd have to say in particular. This would be some night TV fun. I'd have to say for that relative pitch. And this is just kind of a woozy Chica. And the song is just kind of a woozy Chica's club tune, I'd have to say in particular. So it's a pretty good pitch for that. This definitely probably has one of the more original type beats on here. Definitely appreciate the concept of it. I was kind of on the fence about Feel the Beat at first, but it is kind of a boppish type one to kind of get here. Just great for some PlayStation music after hours, 3 a.m., 2 a.m. pitches like that. Just the good, real stellar kind of hangout type song just within that relative pitch of just some after hours type fair and just stuff like that. Just kicking it at the crib with your buddies, pitches like that, and ladies as far as that pitch. Kicking it at the crib with the homies and chicas as far as that pitch kind of goes along with it. Just an after hours type glaze to that particular fair. There definitely need to be way more songs like this. This is a real nice one, just the affable type one, just for the some of that fanfare. I mean, this is kind of a dance song as well, but it's just kind of a lot more lazy just within its manner as far as that particular kind of goes. Just kind of Feel the Beat is just kind of a long-winded type song, which I definitely appreciate. So that's kind of the concept. But so I'd have to say me recommending 8 songs out of 11 on this particular album. I'm going to go ahead and give this album like an 8.75 out of 10. Just damn well close to getting a 9. Just really missed the cusp of it just by like a song. Basically just like a song, something like that. If I had disliked one more song, I probably would have gotten a way higher score. So it would have felt like 9 out of 11. Probably could have been like 9.5, 10 out of 10 territory, just because 11 songs is pretty scant just to be able to say that. So you have to, I mean, realizing that just for the most part, this is the vast majority of the album that I wound up recommending. So it's just kind of the concept. An 8.75 is pretty damn good just within that relative pitch. This is probably one of LL Cool J's best. This is definitely one of my more favorite LL Cool J projects. I'd have to say in particular. Definitely appreciate this one. Really connected with it. Had great songs on here like Head Sprung and Apple Cobbler, some of those type pitches. A lot of good night energy, a lot of good day commerce energy, just stuff like that. So the social score, I'm gonna go ahead and give the social score like a I'm gonna go ahead and give the social score like a 9.5 out of 10. I feel like with that particular score, this is the concept that has a lot of breeziness about a lot of great summer energy. I really like the affable kind of breeziness. I really like the affable kind of carefree breeziness of this particular project as far as that pitch kind of went along with it. Just a lot of good tunes as far as that particular kind of went. Some day energy, some night energy, some pitches like that, some work shift kind of songs on here that just work great for getting ready to want. This album has some great work shift songs on here that work great for switching to flip mode and going to nightclub type energy. I mean, this is a compact album. I'd have to say you get a good handful of songs like Hush. You get some great work shift songs on here like Hush, Every Sip, and Shake It Baby as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. You can get some great nightclub songs on here like Head Sprung, Apple Cobbler, and Feel the Beat, some of those type pitches. There's some other good ladies type energy and pitches like that to kind of get. I definitely like the kind of hotel music type tone of I'm About to Get Her, some pitches like that. I would say Rub My Back's another pretty good vacay type tune as far as that pitch can go. So this really has that affable type energy. Great for August, September, July pitches like that. Just a lot of good festivities as far as that kind of goes. So 9.5 social. In terms of future, like LL Cool J has supposedly not put out an album since 2013. He was apparently working on something of that relative pitch, but I don't know. It's been a little bit. I definitely want to get to some more of these projects I'd had to say, but this is definitely one that really shined. This is definitely one that really shined through for me and really connected with me quite a bit. I'd have to suppose just really appreciate the affable type energy, just real gem here and just a surprising gem at that. It's just kind of concept just being able to say that there were so many hits on here. I really feel like LL Cool J did a great job with Timbaland as far as that pitch kind of go. He tried as far as that pitch kind of particularly kind of goes. He tried some new styles and they worked. Headsprung was definitely a real highlighted type hit. Hush was a good pop rap type tune that just screams summer as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. But I really liked Headsprung, really liked Apple Cobbler, some of those type ones. Just some of these new southern twang type energies worked extremely well. I'd have to say, and I do highly recommend this project. So I'd say I would fuck with it. Just try these new styles out. If you're more a fan of like the boom bap type 80s type sound from some of that type pitch, I still would have to say that this has a lot of good social and summer type numbers on here to keep you occupied, I'd have to say. So it has a lot of good social appeal and I do recommend it quite a bit.